It's time for a new meal prep video, so let's meal prep healthy breakfast, lunch, snack and dinner that will get you 100 grams of protein per day. For breakfast, I'm making overnight oats in 3 yummy flavors: raspberry vanilla, blueberry lemon, and chocolate hazelnut. For the base, I'm adding oats, which are high in fiber, chia seeds, which are a great source of healthy fats, some milk, low-fat Greek yogurt, which is high in protein. You could also use a dairy-free yogurt if you cannot eat dairy. And then I'm adding some maple syrup for sweetness. Then I'm adding some vanilla extract for the raspberry vanilla and blueberry lemon flavors, and cacao powder for the chocolate hazelnut flavor. Next, I add a handful of raspberries and blueberries, some lemon zest, and crushed hazelnuts. Then I just mix all the ingredients together. Lastly, I add a little bit of Greek yogurt on top and some berries. Then I let the oats set in the fridge for at least 2 hours. They last in the fridge for about 4 to 5 days. All of these flavors are super creamy and so yummy. For lunch, I'm making miso soup jars. First, I add miso paste to the bottom of each jar. Next, I'm adding some grated ginger, hot red pepper, and vegetable bouillon. Then I add cooked chicken breast. I marinated the chicken in garlic-infused olive oil, soy sauce, chili flakes, and some salt and pepper. Then I add thinly sliced mushrooms, next, I'm adding 1 shredded carrot to each jar. Then I add the noodles. I'm using rice vermicelli noodles because they cook very quickly. Lastly, I add some spinach. Then I just store these jars in the fridge. I take the jars to room temperature about 10 minutes before adding the hot water so that the glass won't break. I boil the water and pour it into the jar. Then I stir all the ingredients together and let the jar sit for about 5 minutes until the noodles are cooked. Such a fun and easy meal. For a snack, I'm making a high-protein banana bread. First, I mash 3 bananas. Then I add 3 eggs. And some peanut butter. The peanut butter I use is 100% made of peanuts. And then I also add some milk and mix all the ingredients together. Next, I'm adding vegan vanilla protein powder. I always use vegan protein powder because whey protein causes me stomach problems, and my doctor also said it can make my acne worse. If you don't have protein powder, you can replace it with oat or almond flour. Lastly, I add some baking powder and cinnamon. Then I pour the batter into a loaf pan lined with parchment paper. I sprinkle some 80% dark chocolate chunks on top. Then I bake it at 180 Celsius degrees, 350 in Fahrenheit for 35 to 45 minutes. And here's the ready banana bread. I let it cool down for a while before cutting it into slices. This banana bread is moist, so yummy, and contains about 17 grams of protein per serving. For dinner, I'm making a healthier lasagna. First, I'm making the white sauce. I'm using cottage cheese because it's really high in protein and makes a great creamy sauce. But don't worry, you can't even taste it in the lasagna. Then I add some parmesan for flavor and some milk so it's easier to blend. Then I cooked lean ground beef and seasoned it with salt and pepper. If you don't have IBS, you can of course add some onion and garlic to this and cook them with the beef. Then I set the cooked ground beef aside and add a zucchini that I cut into small pieces to the same pan and cook it for about 10 minutes. Then I add the ground beef back to the pan, and then I also add some crushed tomatoes, oregano, and basil for some flavor. And then I stir to combine. I almost forgot to add the chopped chives. Then I let it simmer for about 5 minutes. Then it's time to build the lasagna. First, I pour half of the meat mixture into a baking dish. Then I place 3 lasagna pasta sheets on top and press them down. I'm using gluten-free ones, but if you can't eat gluten, just use regular ones. Next, I add half of the white sauce on top. Then I sprinkle half of the mozzarella on top. And then I just repeat the whole process. Then I covered the baking dish with foil and bake it at 190 Celsius degrees, 375 in Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes. After the 30 minutes, I removed the foil and baked for 15 minutes more. I served the ready lasagna with fresh basil. This lasagna turned out super tasty. My boyfriend couldn't believe that I used cottage cheese for the sauce because you cannot taste it at all. And here are all the ready meals. Those were all the meals I meal prepped today. The ring recipes are in the description box. Let me know down in the comments what kind of recipes you would like to see next. Hope you tried the recipes. Enjoy!